What up, everybody? Welcome to our introductory show here. We are launching the Crosschain Crypto Council. Four of us here from four different ecosystems, just exploring Web3 in different capacities, looking at all the things going on all the chains, trying to build camaraderie across chains. We're going to do some intros in this first episode. It's called Meet the Council because we thought it'd be great to introduce ourselves and sort of go over the state of crypto, some of the things that brought us in. And, just before we go into that, we wanted to share a little bit about why we formed this group in the first place. And, we really saw a lot of animosity, a lot of, you know, um, tribalism and small communities that were forming.
Mhm.
And we went out there a few years back when we jumped into the space. Here I'm referring to the DRMZ crew that I represent with my homie Chili, business partner Chili. And we basically went out there to try to represent Cardano in an ecosystem that wasn't very Cardano friendly. So we got to see the tribalism very upfront. And we noted, well, how come though, right? If you're trying to learn about Web3, I was looking at Web3 for a while. I was looking at Ethereum. I was looking at XRP. I was looking, and then I found Cardano was like, this is my shit. But I still held the other tokens. I still liked them, when Solana popped off. Anyway, so we saw this tribalism. We wanted to make some high quality content that addressed how we could get past that because we don't have to dwell there, right? There's so much going on that's cross-chain now. Now that we're getting past this tribalism and we're getting into the cross-chain ecosystem where chains will be able to communicate with each other, and we'll go more into that. But I'll pass the mic here to my colleagues in just a second. Um, the two things that I think I want to say that we really want to focus on as a team are we want to showcase emerging tech with AI and Web3, blockchain, crypto, all of it.
Mhm.
Um, and we want to build bridges across communities. That I think is at the core of it all. We're gonna bullshit. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. We're gonna look at some TA. We're gonna analyze the markets. We're gonna talk about things the way that we do on our own respective shows where we have our own audiences, and then we're sort of coming here together to engage in this council collective because we think that it's worth exploring. We'll see where it goes. It's kind of an experiment. We're having fun with it too. It's all about that too, right? We got to have some fun. So, really quickly, then I'll introduce myself and then I'll pass it over here to my colleagues. My name is Rodrigo. I go by Rod in the Web3 world, and I'm representing Cardano here. I'm an educator, an AI strategist, and a governance advocate. I'm a D-Rep on the Cardano blockchain. I am someone who's also working with AI technology now. So I'm looking at decentralized education, intelligent systems. I lead, like I said, the Dream Stake Pool team. We're a collective here focused on yes, maintaining the Cardano network and minting blocks for the network, but also promoting Web3 literacy, staking, and community empowerment. That's again our main focus outside of just the staking and the technical stuff. And then through DRMZ, like I said, I'm now building some AI agents and then some collective powerhouse tools that will really bridge academia because that's of main interest to me is like how can I make Web3 more accessible in academia? So that's me, and I'll pass it over here to Rick.
Thanks, Rod. I appreciate that introduction. I know that you and I had talked about, putting something together as far as a YouTube channel or a podcast. Razo was in that conversation as well in the early days when we were doing actual community events here in San Diego, through Crypto Heads when we were hosting those events. And so that was really
Shout
beautiful.
out Crypto Heads.
Shout out to Crypto Heads. They gave me the first stage to really speak in Web3, and I'm extremely grateful. I've actually been in crypto for almost a decade now. And so
Whoa.
I've watched, the booms and busts of, all the bulls and bear cycles, and learned a lot along the way. But became extremely passionate about not only the opportunity to really build generational wealth, but also how blockchain technology was really going to bring innovation, how it was going to disrupt so many different industries, and how it was going to really push us into the economy of the future. And so I started to really, study a lot as far as different tokens and how they were going to be disrupting. And one industry that I was really passionate about was real estate and really seeing how illiquid assets were going to be affected by blockchain, right? So since 2019, I had been chasing the narrative of real estate tokenization in its early days when we were learning about security tokens. And I just saw the bridge between traditional finance and that decentralized finance island that I loved really emerging, and security tokens being that. And so now today, what I do is I tokenize real estate as my main thing through RE tokens. Shout out to RE Tokens, great company, bringing assets on chain, unprecedented liquidity to private markets, and really creating a secondary marketplace for real estate assets that has never existed before. And that's really the innovation that I'm seeing blockchain really play in industries that have, been so antiquated for so long. But for everyone that's listening here that's brand new to crypto, that's where all of our passions really kind of have united us here to this Crosschain Crypto Council because we want to bring more people into the Web3 space. We want to educate the public. We want to create more people like us that see the opportunity in this digital gold rush that we're experiencing as we speak, right? And so, in order to bridge that gap, I also have created an educational onboarding program for self-custody services through redpillrick.com to really just get people's, foot in the door when it comes to the world of crypto and Web3. We know that digital wallets, centralized exchanges, decentralized apps, and all the innovation that it brings can get a little confusing. And so, to demystify some of the vocabulary, to break it down for the public is what we wish to do with a channel like this. And so, just like Rod, I have a passion for educating as well, and that's where him and I, identify so much. That really was a calling for us to really put something together, right? And adding Paulie and Razo to the equation just gives us a powerhouse to really have these conversations and really, take it to the next level. So with that being said, I'll pass it over to Paul to give his introduction.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Hey, folks, I'm Paul Tebow, known as Pauly TV on most social platforms. I'm here representing VeChain. Yeah, you know, I got into Web3 and crypto through VeChain years ago. I was kind of forced in. Someone was pestering me to jump in on this train, and like a lot of people out there, I was like, "What the heck are you talking about? Like crypto?" I was looking down on it like that's ridiculous, right? And at the same time, I was personally not in a great place mentally in life. It was around just after COVID, right? We were all struggling, and I wasn't really, wasn't doing great, and I broke down. I came in and I found something that I was missing, and that was a sense of belonging, right? A sense of purpose, a sense of feeling like I could contribute to something bigger than myself, right? And I was reminded of the importance of community, of relationships and connecting with people. And for me, I think that's what I really want to be able to focus on in what I do, and what I hope we can, focus on at times as well in our conversations is um, in Web3, this self custody, this breaking away from traditions, more, you know, more needing to be in control of your own assets and your own finances, having people to talk to, having community is going to be more important than ever, right? Talking with each other, sharing ideas, navigating and asking questions to figure out, is the guy next to me trying to, scam me? Is this guy, that's this environment where we hear so many people skeptical of Web3 and crypto. It's not unfounded. There's a lot of sketchy stuff going on here, and it's important to find your people and to communicate, and that's what I try to do. So you'll find me all over the place, usually dealing with community members. I'm a founder of my own project on VeChain Sagas. I host multiple VeChain spaces throughout the week, vibing with VeChain on Mondays and Wednesdays, the VeChain Cafe. We're interviewing teams coming into the DAO. We're now actually trying to help the community learn about the teams that are coming in, help those teams try to connect with the community, bridging that gap that seems to miss in a lot of ecosystems, and trying to bring real substantive conversations that try to actually get somewhere other than just sitting around, shooting this shit like we're back in high school. There's a time and a place for all that, and that's great. But I want to have substance. And I also, I'm a VChain ambassador as well. So I actually have close ties now with the foundation. So I'm able to, communicate with them, make sure that they know what's going on within the community, really trying to bridge that gap that we've seen a lot in Web3, where there's a disconnect, right? We have things, node holders, which a lot of you might not know about, and there's foundations and there's communities, and a lot of times they can be very disconnected. So having people try and bridge those gaps is really important. And as if I didn't have enough going on, today I became a mod in the VChain official community Facebook group as well. So why not just do that? Now we're trying to bridge different social media platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
So talking with people is what I do. I'm looking forward to talking with you gentlemen as we do this moving forward and having great conversations, talking about the cool things that are going on in Web3. Because a lot of people out there, I think, just look at Web3 and crypto and think it's a bunch of fake internet money and cartoon pictures of monkeys and degenerates running around. When in reality, we got some really cool people doing really cool things here. That if people knew more about, I think they'd be much more interested in joining. So hopefully we can help people see that and maybe be a part of seeing that change to Web3 getting a little more play in the mainstream.
I guess it's my turn.
Oh,
Damn straight, let's go, Razo.
Oh, what's up, everyone? My name is Razo, and ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with how money works. I was watching this movie when I was poor as fucking teacher, right? It was this Bible movie and Jesus walks into the temple. And that's the only time you see Jesus pissed off, right? Because there's people selling shit all over the place, right? But there's another version of the story where the money changers are there, the currency, the people that control the currency were in there. And that's really why he was pissed off. And in that movie, they say that famous quote about money is the root of all evil or whatever. And that sort of just stuck with me. Ever since I was a kid, because of that movie and that quote, it was almost like a challenge. Like, no way, all all evil cannot be because of money and currency. But as I grown up and I seen the world through that lens, I think I've came to that same conclusion. And in some ways, even before I understood Bitcoin or crypto or any of this, I had already like sort of came up with the model of a different type of crypto, um, which has now inspired my YouTube channel I'm about to start that's called Bad Money, which is all about just exposing how money is destroying our society from my perspective, right? I mean, money is just a tool, but I think that when we create it from debt and then we give that money to a few people, that creates all sorts of problems. And when look into the world, I always see it affecting money affecting everything that we see. Because if you think about it, money is the only thing between you and everything you want. So when I found crypto, I just sort of clicked with it. Like as soon as I understood how blockchain technology could work for us, it just like it helped me reimagine money all over again. And I really want people to listen to us because I know that yeah, like my friends here are saying, there's a lot of BS in the cryptocurrency space. There's a lot of nonsense, right? But there's also some great stuff that could change the world for for better. And I think that people need to begin to pay attention because I'm rage against the machine as hell. And I would like to see some real big changes in the world. And I know it sounds crazy, but blockchain and crypto and Web3 and AI, these are the new tools of revolution. And I want people to begin to understand from that perspective because money is the one thing that unites us all. We could have all these revolutions about race and sex and religion, but the only thing we all care about seems to be money. So my job here is just to be a little bit rage against the machine, and I'm also obsessed with charting and TA. I look at charts all day. I just do it for fun. People tell me they're looking at a stock. I'm like, oh, let me pull it out, and I start drawing some levels, and I love doing that, and I hope I can do that for you guys too.
Hell
So
yeah,
welcome
dude.
everyone.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. Looking forward to it. And I just wanted to chime back on something that Polly said before we proceed. Really following up on something that Rick said too. Um, the safety part, the security part, the keeping people from the scams is important because even though we tout the projects that are not, we understand that there are some that are. And so, that's the case in every industry, in every so staying safe, providing sound approaches for understanding which projects are worth your time. That's partly what we're hoping to do here is kind of not vet projects and say, we're the arbiters of truth, but rather say, here's our honest opinions on these projects. And going back to something that so on that point, education, very important, is the safety, security first, like securing your keys, like Polly said, but also staying away from scams. Absolutely primordial.
Crypto
Um,
condom.
You're right. The other part was V Polly's focus here as an ambassador on VeChain, and sort of what we had talked about in a separate situation was possibly interviewing some of these folks that are from different ecosystems, and we might end up doing that in the Twitter Spaces version of this. So we're going to host a space. I think we need to set up a time for that, Polly. But we're going to host a space that will kind of be this, but like in the Twitter Spaces version,
Yep.
maybe it could echo certain parts of what we talk about here, like additions that happen after the fact, or so we'll decide exactly what our flow will be for that one. But mainly it'll be community focused, AMA, and then interviewing people in the space. So I'm also a Cardano ambassador. So I will be leveraging that as well to try to bring projects in and expose what is great, focus on things like Project Catalyst, which is a seed fund in Cardano's treasury. It's coming up right now. In the next few days, like it will release. And I think honestly, we should apply
Mhm.
with this show. Like this should be a show that we apply for funding for, and we say, here's what we're going to do, here's why it's worth your time, and we put in a proposal, and then we leave it to the will of the community. But then it's sort of interesting because Paulie and I do run Twitter Spaces and we do know Twitter community. So actually, these projects may just get a lot of exposure. And maybe we do bring people in from VeChain to vote on Cardano and vice versa, right? We can start engaging more community saying, look, if you help us get this funded, we'll help make sure that this show is always going to be providing quality to you, and it's going to be something that we enjoy doing because we love it, but also like top tier and necessary and focused on education. So just wanted to chime in on those two things. I think are absolutely essential. And I will pass it on here so we can get into our official intro. I guess more the banter to get to know each other.
Yeah.
No, but to echo a little bit what you're saying though, like we're not here to shill really smaller projects, but really kind of give you foundational knowledge, give you all of the guys that are maybe the solidified players in the economy of tomorrow is the goal, right? And then expanding upon that. And we'll be going into projects that may have higher risk levels. But when we do so, we'll be able to at least preface it with that and let what type of project we're dealing with. We'll try to categorize it, in its own lane so that you know what to expect with a project like this. And hopefully even equip you with the ability to evaluate coins on your own, right, over time as you kind of stick with us. And having, the technical analysis from Razo and the rest of the team's feedback, we'll be able to really go into whatever projects also that the community wants to see with some of the feedback from them as well too.
Yo, can we change our name to the Crypto Caps?
Crypto caps.
We all got hats, bro.
Oh, that is true.
The Crypto Caps. We just
They
wear
said
caps all the time.
they
Hey,
said crypto
crypto
cat. I was like,
crypto heads might think we're biting off them too hard.
dude, that's right. Crypto heads, crypto caps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't need them thinking we're capping or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like we don't need any confusion.
I'm gonna cap that ass.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But lots of great news today, right? Like history in the making, all-time highs, right? 160
Yeah.
today. And that's really the big headline today. Bitcoin dominance, has really been what we've been seeing this entire, bull cycle. I'm hoping that, with what they've declared next week to be crypto week in the US.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that announcement, but they're anticipating a couple bills to be passed to declare the 13th through the 18th crypto week. Uh,
Crypto week. Let's go.
so you're already seeing the buy the rumor, sell the news, liquidity coming in. And then you had, Brad Garlinghouse talking Congress, about, sound crypto regulation. And so I anticipate the stablecoin bill of next week and the Genius Act, to pass and really to inject a lot of liquidity with tokenized dollars coming into the system. And we're already kind of seeing some of the degens and the decentralized finance money already coming in with XRP up, 30 cents, went from 210 to 250. And now we're even seeing all the other ISO tokens that are in the same family really kind of taking that, center stage for compliance, and so
Absolutely.
exciting news.
Yeah, I actually to quote, this is a historic opportunity for the United States. After years of work, American innovators are one step closer to having the clarity they need to build here at home while ensuring the future of the digital economy reflects our values of privacy, individual sovereignty, and free market competitiveness. So that's again, it's insane. Very cool to see movement in that space. I think the vote's coming up. It passed. Where did it pass? Because it's going to the House, right?
It's going to the House. I believe these bills are set to pass come next week. So we will anticipate a lot of liquidity here. July is usually a bullish month, and so I anticipate we're going to see a lot more. And I've seen them declare it, and along with it comes a lot of meme plays that are also built off of that timeline as well, too.
Yeah, yeah. Digital assets will soon transform every industry, and the time is now to bring common sense regulation to blockchain technology to allow that innovation to grow and thrive.
And it's
Absolutely about it. We need block, blockchains. I didn't understand for a long time, and now that I do, I'm like, yeah. Yes, please, more of that. Like,
Well, what a great time to start a channel with Bitcoin just ripping to all time new
dude,
time highs,
pull up the
bro.
chart. Pull up the chart. Can you pull up the chart?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got it right
let's
here.
see, let's try.
Okay, you go, Razo.
Yeah, man.
You got a chart?
No,
Let's see because I'm curious about the movement, right? Like it's great to see it, breaking all-time highs. I think it's down at what 115 right now, down at 115. What am I saying? Right? Uh,
right.
Yeah.
but
Uh,
what where might it go? Those are potential, I don't know if you guys have figures for where you think it'll go. We can kind of talk about that if you guys wanted to. I
well,
Well,
got
check
I got a
check.
number.
Yeah, I got this prediction I did on X on what is that, June 21st. But I
Okay.
think I had these lines for a long time. Look what I drew. We're gonna drop into this area. We're
Uh,
gonna come back, bounce, and then boom. And I've been saying bull run starts here. So what has happened? Or so that's exactly what happened, right? Like the next day, look, it came into this
dang.
area, bounce, and now we're above here now. Today, we're
Yo.
like over here. So
Hey, Grats, man. I know you've worked at your TA for a minute. I know you've been like, do just in the trenches, like learning and drawing those lines and finding those lines. That's awesome, man. It's great to see you grow in this way.
my only prediction I'm sad about is this one, the Bitcoin dominance. I had this weekly level from here to here,
Uh-huh.
and look how close we got. So my prediction was that we're gonna hit it, and then we were gonna start dropping, and altcoin season was gonna start.
Uh-huh.
But we got really close. But it looks like the dominance is rejecting. Look at this shit.
hmm
I still think we can have a quick flash drop. I would like that just so this line gets hit, just so I can be like, yeah, I told you.
Bro,
But look at that. It looks great.
hey,
And
that's
as
wait,
and
so
as
so dominance for Bitcoin. See, this will officially be, I think, my first legit bull run. Like getting back to the story about like how long have we all been in this and like what are we all doing? Rick shared he's been in it for almost a decade. For me, it's about half that. like less than half that. So I think 4 years is where I'm at. And it's crazy to think about the movement, and this will be potentially my first actual bull run because I got in when it was already declining last cycle. So I don't know what to expect. I need more understanding of the way things move. So I actually do really look to your TA as someone who is learning this along with me, in my immediate community as part even I would say as like of our dreams team here. Then that's cool. Like you've taught yourself how to do this. I'm teaching myself AI now. You know what I mean? Like we're in that age of autonomy. You can just go do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I was with you, Rod. I started back in 2021, early 2021, and we were just getting in that decline. I picked a terrible time to jump in. Jumped in at VeChain, I think it was 11 or 12 cents,
Or
and
did you?
it's
Ooh.
been down. Well, it hit it. I think it
Oh,
was
oh,
all-time
record.
high was
Oh, yeah.
27. I jumped in at 12, and it's been down under 5 most of the time since. But what I remember, I wasn't really there for the bull run, but what I know of people who've talked about it was, a lot of the Bitcoiners kind of trickled out of Bitcoin into the alts, right? And I think people are wondering, why have we seen alt season yet? And
Yeah.
I just think it's plain people aren't ready to sell their Bitcoin yet. They
Right.
think it's still going to keep going up. They don't want
Yeah.
to sell it. They want to get it go up. And then when they feel like they've hit their number, that's when they start to go into the alts, right? So I keep hearing people wondering why the heck aren't, why isn't VeChain and this and that doing anything?
Mhm.
I just don't think the people that are going to be pouring in are quite ready to pour in yet. It's as simple as that.
Well, again, until this Bitcoin dominance starts dropping, the altcoins are not really going to go anywhere. But
Well, is the psychology there? Let's just talk a little psychology, I guess. Let's say you're holding a lot of Bitcoin and you don't even believe the cycle theory. You're like, nah. But all of a sudden you see people selling, it's dropping, selling. I'm selling. Is this the one? I think I should sell some. Right. And then that's what leads into this downturn into other markets or upturn of those markets because they're gonna sell into in some cases fiat, but in some cases other tokens that they think might be good hedges against Bitcoin. And
Exactly.
that is when Cardano and will shine and XRP is already shining, has already shined. VeChain at two cents is it at right now, Paulie?
It's around 2.4, 2.5. It went up a little bit today. We're getting a little bump, so it's around 2.5.
Is so that's a juicy price then. This is a juicy buy-in. If you bought in at 11 cents, this is like, oh, that's almost 80%
Yeah,
down. Like,
I got VeChain at 5 cents.
Yeah.
okay,
That's
but is there um a an amount to hit for staking purposes, or is there like certain things that you can do if you hold a certain amount of VeChain? I know with like let's say like Crow, for example, has that debit card where if you lock up $500 worth or like $5,000 worth and you get progressively higher benefits, right? So does VeChain have anything like that or no? You can just hold
Yeah.
stuff because it's a good idea.
Yeah, actually, it's an interesting question because anyone who's known VeChain for a long time knows that their two token system has been, their gas token VETHO. It was basically you hold VET and you automatically generate VETHO. And unfortunately, as a result of that, they've generated a lot of VETHO and there's a lot of excess. And the node holders were really bitching about that. And they were like, when are we going to fix the tokenomics? And this year, VeChain made an effort to do that. And they have introduced a new system where passive VETHO generation is no more. It goes away this year. The only
Oh,
way you're going to generate this token now is if you are a node holder. And they've introduced new levels of nodes. They've
state
introduced nodes
pools,
where, yeah,
state pools on VeChain. Let's go.
essentially, it's well. Here's the thing. Now they actually made it an NFT. You
Oh
buy.
shit.
So let's say I have a Dawn node. It's 10,000 vet, right? You mint this
Yeah.
NFT for 10,000 vet. You generate a certain amount of VETHO every day, As
Oh,
long as you have that, and then if you get rid of it, you stop. It just goes away. And so they've changed the tokenomics for VeChain, the Renaissance they're calling it. There's a bunch of new things that they're doing, and that's part of it. So if you want to generate VETHO, which essentially kind of operates as a reward, right, for holding. It's also the gas token, so you're essentially generating the gas fee, which you can also sell. But it's if you stake, you get these VETHO generations. And we've already seen in the launch, it was the beginning of this month, it launched. We've already seen, I think, I don't know the exact number, but there are several billion vet that have been locked into this. So we've seen a huge amount of vet locked up. Of course, many of them were already locked up with nodes that were previously held, some of which you need to hold up to 15 million vet just to get one of these nodes. So they've really focused on securing the network, reducing VETHO generation to actually try and make it deflationary, so that over time it will actually become a bit more a bit more profitable maybe, while also trying to maintain cheap gas fees, right? I think that's the challenge there. So yeah, to answer that's a long way to say yes, Rod. They
I,
absolutely have that.
I love
Yo,
I love
I haven't looked at this chart since 2 years ago. What is this? September 20. I haven't opened this bet chart since September 23. I
Wow.
just opened it right now for the first time. And
And that's
this is
true.
how this stuff played out.
Nice.
It looks
beautiful.
strong, dude. It looks
Beautiful
strong.
lines. Hey, the
Look
force is
at
strong with you, my friend. The force is strong with
boom.
you. I love it.
You know my favorite chart is though, right, Rod?
Hey, you know what? Hold on. Let it be known. If you go to Raji underscore DRMZ, my Twitter, and you look at my posts, you will see retweets of Razo's TA. And I don't know that anybody else is retweeting your TA, but I definitely have because I
Uh,
believe in your lines. Like I've seen your work, bro. I'm like,
How
this
long have I had these lines, bro?
yeah, I'm like this dude went in there and looked for every
Look,
line that he could find that like made sense.
I had this
And you
lines
know,
here since September of 23.
Mhm.
dude, I
All this is
respect the
all put.
grind.
Look at these. You could have short here, long here, and you should be longing now.
You know what? Actually, this is maybe like a good moment to sort of pivot towards one of the questions that I have because this is actually like, why, Razo? Why are you so passionate about these lines? Because, TA for me was one of those things where like I saw it and was like, this is a learning curve and this is not my curve. I don't really need it like that. I could just kind of follow the trends. And I felt confident in looking at others' lines, right? So like I followed other Twitter people or
Boom.
other YouTube people, and I sort of follow their chart analysis. And I've determined the ones that I believe, which is I think a sound practice for everybody to have is like a good
Yeah.
variety of voices in your ear. But I know that then you worked from those sources, let's say, taking this knowledge and this passion, and then this is what you ended up with. And
Yeah.
and I would say it mirrors my own passion for all of the things that like I work on in my own immediate domain. And I see Rick passionate about what he's doing, and Polly's clearly passionate too. So like I want to dive into that a bit. And you just brought up your lines, man. So we're already there. So what's up? What got you there? Why are you so confident in the ones that you have drawn? What is that confidence based on? Because people are like, this is not a science. Like this is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's like 100, maybe 1,000 ways to do this, right?
Mhm.
But I think mine is more visual, and I would say it's a lot more accurate because I'm following rules. Like on the top side, when I join these lines, these colors mean different things to me. Like yellow is a daily. Oh, so red is a monthly, and then I use weekly orange, daily yellow, 4 hours I use a green, 1 hour this, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and the pink stink for the 1 minute. So those are the only timelines I use, and that's why I have all these colors or whatever. But I think it was this chart, dude. I think like every time I show people, when people tell me it's randomness, I just showed them this chart because look, all I did here is it's just it's yellow because it's on the daily, right? Right now I'm in the daily. I started from on the bottom. You want to do red candle to red candle. In my case, is gray candle, right?
Mhm.
So from here to here, right? And then the next open red candle, and then this one, the next open one, and then the next open one, and then the next open one, and then the next open one, or whatever. So that's all I did until I ran out over here or whatever, or right here. And then once you zoom out and you start like, I mean, we're on a daily right now, but if I zoom in, look at this accuracy. Like these levels do something to the price. It's not randomness. Look at that. You think that like who if you took a long right there, dude, like that's nuts. Like that's accuracy. All these levels always like hold the price down. They come and retest. If you lose one, you drop down to the next one, right? You try to tag, you lose it, you come back. It's just like over and over again. And right now, it looks like we were gonna lose it, but Cardano's trying to move up, and it
Let's
makes
go,
sense
Cardano. Pump, baby, pump.
because
Actually,
look
you
at
know
the
what? I'm of two minds. Also, drop, like Razo said. Please drop. I need more ADA.
yeah. But look at the this is the Bitcoin and ADA dominance.
Oh, dang.
Dude, so okay, this was I don't know if people know this, but this is basically Cardano's price against Bitcoin, right? And um, every time we see these pumps, we get a bull run, and Cardano just will blast off, right? From here to here was a bull run, from here to here was the next bull run, and right now we're here. See, I combined these 2 points right here. We broke out, we came back, sort of retested it. Same thing here. I had these 2 points. We're breaking out and like we're retesting. And look how it's curving. I like that. I like that a lot. So I think Cardano's going over here, and that's probably a good time. This is probably when I'm gonna sell.
What's the price up there, Razo?
Whenever we hit this white line, bro.
Well,
Oh, this is Bitcoin dominance, so it's not
Oh,
a price.
okay. It doesn't show you the price that it'll be once it's at that level?
No, but these lines have been accurate, right? So maybe
Yeah.
if we if in June it maxes out, maybe we're up here at $11. I don't know.
A
Oh wait, that's June of 28th.
oh,
December 25th, we're at like 929, let's say. I don't know if this line is ever gonna get hit. So,
still good. I mean, listen,
but even if we go here, that's like $7 in December. I'll
I
take it.
my game. I mean, all-time high was $3, and an easy. I've heard $5 is like everyone's default, and pushing to $8 would be great.
I feel
That's what
like
it
that
says.
transitions over to XRP as well too, you know? It's like everyone believes it to be worth $10, so conservative estimations are around $5. You'll 100x from here, or at least 1x, sorry, you'll 100% from here.
So a coworker had me ask me today how high I thought XRP is gonna go. So I want to ask you because I'm not that familiar with XRP, and he had all his kids buy a bunch of it, and they were
Yeah.
stressing out when the price dumped, right? So what are
You're,
some of the predictions you're hearing with XRP?
you'll get astronomical
What's that,
predictions
guys?
like, out of this world, you know, when it comes to XRP sometimes.
Really?
Reason why you'll get, predictions in the thousands or in the hundreds are because it's the banker's coin. And so a lot of the crypto cowboys like us, in the spirit of decentralization, don't really, aren't that privy to XRP because they have a centralized company, Ripple, right, that's been really managing its progress over time, right? And they've made all these partnerships with banks. They're essentially becoming a bank themselves, right? So when you think of all the traditional finance and the SWIFT system that exists today of sending money across border lines that take 48 hours, now think of it being instantaneous, ran on XRP. That's really the opportunity we have here. And I've seen projections of, the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, who was the one that spoke in Congress. He said that he believes that by 2028 to 2030, that he anticipates that XRP will have 14% of the world's transactions taken from Swift. So imagine that utility, right? And I'm telling you, it has a $2.53, price tag today. and it hasn't even turned on the lights of that liquidity to be funneling through it, right? How robust it actually is. It's the quickest, crypto that I send that really kind of arrives, so that's why I see centralized governments really wanting to build their CBDCs on top of XRP Ledger as well, with all of the centralization that they've built with the partnerships with the banks. So what I see is an emergence of like a hybrid world as opposed to maybe this duality of DeFi versus TradFi, I see both of them coexisting and us having freedom of choice.
Bro, is
So,
that XRP's chart?
Yeah,
yep.
today.
That is such a weird looking chart.
Well, I'm telling you, like you're seeing the liquidity come in based off of the announcements and everything they're doing with Congress right now. Yeah, I'm a
Mhm.
big advocate for, crypto in general, but most importantly, United States-based cryptos.
Yeah.
Just because I am, a big patriot myself. But in the end, I'm also hearing that, our president is flirting with the idea of no capital gains tax on United States-based cryptos. So that being said, really kind of gives me that bias to really build, in the USA when it comes to the projects that I'm also searching for. But not saying that I don't dabble in other projects outside, right? But I see XRP and all the other five that they included on the crypto reserve executive order of Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, right? And including XRP to be a part of that crypto reserve, similar to our gold reserve. And so I just see it as being extremely bullish, being the glue for the banks. And not only that, though, but a key narrative to really look into is the compliance standard of the ISO narrative, ISO 20022. I know it's a weird name, but if you search it up, it definitely will come with a family of tokens, which will be XLM, HBAR, Algorand, and many more, right? There's about seven that are in the family of tokens there that you can definitely be able to get in on as well and build, for the long haul. But I anticipate for a price prediction. I think that, this by the end of the month here, we could be pushing above $3. And then I believe that, we're probably going to get to about $5 conservative before the end of the year for sure. And then I really believe that it would hit $10 by the end of the year, but I'm just staying conservative with five. You
Yeah,
know?
that's interesting.
That's fun.
With Cardano and XRP in my mind, at first we're very antithetical. I think you and I even had conversations about that.
Right.
But now they are collaborating and partnering up, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening between these two chains that is just even more exciting.
Right.
Um, one of the you know the homie Drew, shout out Goat Tribe, Razo's rocking the hat too. But he he and I were doing a show for a little while, and we had a on our show the homie Flippy the Switch. It's an XRP meme coin sort of or meme NFT project. So it's a switch, like a flip switch. Anyway, we know him in person. He's a cool dude out here in our neck of the woods, and we were talking a little bit about the NFT ecosystem that was popping up in XRP and some of the meme coins. And I actually downloaded what was that First Ledger.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was kind of playing in there for a little bit, and now I've got the Shaman app or Zamin. How do you pronounce it? Do you know?
I believe it's Zaman. Yeah.
Zamin.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's kind of cool to see that the ecosystem is now becoming more user friendly as well, because now we're getting just wallets that are built better. There's a lot happening in each ecosystem that's worth exploring.
And most importantly, us being, the Crosschain Council, I think, everyone believes it's, tribal in the sense of one chain to rule them all. But, in the spirit of DeFi, I really believe
Hmm.
this idea of interoperability, right? And being able to have cross-chain integration, where these tokens can move on different chains and be able to not lose their compatibility, and some type of mistake happen. And so, I believe XRP is trying to build bridges, especially to those, solidified players like Cardano and Ethereum, where they have already kind of cultivated those traditional ecosystems in crypto. You see narratives like, the Ethereum killers, right? Other layer ones like Solana and Sui, coming up, to really rival Ethereum for some market share in the Web3 side of things
Hmm.
because of Ethereum's, unfortunate, lack of scalability and gas fees and prices, unfortunately. But there's also the narrative where people aren't giving up on Ethereum and you have the layer twos and they're creating this chain of blockchains on top of Ethereum to make it more scalable and affordable. And so all of these narratives are good ecosystems to build in as you're kind of building your portfolio and taking a look at what's out there. Because they all kind of tie into Cardano, to VeChain, and all of really the top 100 tokens that are really creating this grandiose idea of token economics, right? An economy built on tokens. And I think that that's why maybe crypto's so hard for people to really wrap their head around because it's not just a token or a use case anymore. It's not just bad money with Bitcoin, right, Razo? It's not just, reinventing the banking system, but now just taking the whole infrastructure of the way we manage payments and moving it into this digital era. And that's really what we have an opportunity as individuals to be a part of, right? And so that's why I'm super bullish on the space. I'm super bullish on the team here, on what we're doing, right? To really open it up to the rest of the world to be able to see what we see and pay attention and see the history and the making that we're able to share in here today, right? And that's where it's all headed, and that's why I'm super excited, with the
Mm,
cross-chain side of things.
yeah.
I was just thinking about that because I'm a big fan of decentralization. So I've been known to be a little tribal about that because most projects are not that decentralized. But I was thinking about it just the other day and I was like, well, having all these projects is a form of decentralization, right? Having all these communities, XRP and Cardano and Bitcoin, Solana and all that is a form of decentralization within itself. And I think, yeah, the future is obviously multi-chain and some chains are probably gonna get better at certain things, like maybe ABEX takes gaming and ADA takes fucking governance and creates a whole government, I hope. But
Yeah.
that is part of decentralization. But I think it's also we should also, yeah, like tell people how some projects are not that decentralized at all, and they should just know that from the beginning and what that means or what doesn't mean.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
have right.
Hey,
Sorry, I was just gonna say it's an interesting because today actually was the official launch for VeChain of their cross-chain bridge.
40,
Um
40 chains, right? Ooh.
yeah, so Juan Chain, who by the way I'm interviewing next week. I'm doing an AMA with the CEO of Juan Chain to talk about what this means for the future of VeChain. So I'm really looking forward to that. Won't It'll be next Friday, so we'll probably be doing our show the night before. But looking forward to talking with them. But VeChain is a fork of Ethereum, but it doesn't mean it works with Ethereum. There's technical things that if you don't understand blockchain and crypto, there are things that happen that maybe make it so they can't talk, right? And so there are companies like OneChain that are working to try and help these blockchains do just that. And I believe OneChain also actually did the same, did some similar work for Cardano as well in the past. I think Cardano was one of the blockchains they worked with. But I saw a picture today. Someone in their V World wallet was able to swap between Vitho and Bitcoin. So
Wow.
yeah, you can do ADA. So we are now seeing this cross-chain meshing, right? Where you can in your native wallet be swapping into tokens from other chains. So it's just another step in that direction that we're seeing throughout Web3, right? Where yeah, everyone's competing, right? I think that healthy competition, that's how it works, right? That's how the world works. But it's not tribalism and I need to win, everyone else loses. It's understanding that if one chain tried to take it all, they couldn't do it. There's no way. So to Rick's point and what you guys are talking about, I think here in Web3, we understand that, like Razo said, a decentralization, right? Not no one needs to take it all on. You have your strengths over there. Maybe VeChain is a little more centralized and businesses like that. So they're a little more, prepared to deal with enterprise and corporations. And then Cardano is a bit more, a lot more decentralized so that, their community can come in and feel like they have a little more control over what's going on. And you at least have that opportunity to decide which is the best feeling for you, right? Which we've always felt, I think, especially here in America, in a lot of places in the world,
America.
the idea of options is kind of an illusion, right? We get to pick two of these, one of these two options, and people are sick of that, right? We're trying to change the game a little bit, which I'm excited about.
And you know what I also like too is that every chain also has its values, right? That it really embodies as well. So you listen to the founders of some of these projects, right? And they all have, a form of ideology in which they're or philosophy that they're kind of dictating the way that they're architecting this blockchain. And when you dive into like a Hoskinson or a Vitalik Buterin and you listen to these guys talk about what they're building, you can really see, all the detail that's really going into the infrastructure that's really going to dictate all of our lives moving forward. And so I think that that's really the big contention here that a lot of people haven't awakened to yet, and how this is going to affect future generations, and our children's future and the where they kind of transact. They're going to grow up in an AI driven world, a robotic world where digital money is primary and paper money is a figment of the past, right? And it's still going to be around and holding its level of value at its time, but it's just going to keep eroding, right? Because I don't anticipate governments to change their policy of printing more money, right?
You
Which is
can't.
the idea of bad money that we're really kind of showcasing here is that paper fiat money is inflationary, right, Razo? And these guys aren't going to turn off this money printer. And so there is a transition happening where now they're adopting it. Sovereign nations are coming in, and you and I, as individuals, can basically, you
Dude.
know, catch wind of it early and get in on this wave.
And
This metaphor I use to kind of wrap up, though, is like searching for calm waters when you're surfing, knowing the forecast that the tsunami's coming, right? That's where we're at right now with this bull run, and pushing towards all-time highs. That's where I see us headed.
that's what I was gonna say. That's a good point, man. Because imagine if the economy collapses and there's no other system, but the
Mm.
people don't realize that there's already a whole system here that a lot of us degens are playing around with that works pretty well. Like,
Like,
I
bro,
don't think that
send me your
people
address.
realize
Send me your address. I got you.
like
Right.
we we have the tools that like billionaires do now, and you can do this all in this decentralized way, and it's freaking awesome. And it's a good time to be living. So if the economy goes down, I feel a little bit less scared because at least us, we're gonna jump the hell out of it, right? We have options now.
We
And let's
have
be honest,
rats.
Competition.
how often are any of us even using physical money these days anyways? In the last 10 years. We're
I
always
mean,
using cards,
debit
debit
cards.
card, credit card. It's all computerized transactions for the most part as it is. If we all tried to take our money out of the banks right now, we couldn't. We couldn't do it. We know that, right?
The
So
system will collapse.
the society's already being prepared for this kind of thing. They just don't even realize it yet.
And it's that lack of realization that I think we really need to tap into, because some of them are now asking questions, hearing some news. Some of them have known, and now they're like, all right, well, this dude was talking about it, so let me ask questions. Some people are brand new. Like, it's kind of an interesting space to be in right now, because we saw that fall off from the highs all the way down through the bear market, and we endured it. And I think it was all passion for all of us, kind of taking us back to the topic here that we started with, this intro on why we're here, and the passion that drives us, right? So we are cutting here towards the end of the show. So maybe I thought we could conclude here with I guess each of us directly addressing that question. We didn't spend too much time on it, but I think it's a nice way to center back on our blockchains and on our own individual focus. I don't know if everybody wants to start. I could absolutely.
Yeah, you lead the way.
Okay, cool. So again, thank you for joining us here today for this show. If you're watching later, we hope you enjoyed it. Uh, my name again is Rodrigo, and I am one of the co-founders for DRMZ. We are a stake pool operation, so we didn't talk about that too much, but we do have a stake pool that sort of mints blocks for the Cardano network. And if you have ADA, we would love for you to delegate with DRMZ. But basically, what we do besides that is now deliver some solutions. We're starting to move into that space where we want to build stuff. So I'm building stuff with AI, and very much to Razo's point just before, it's kind of crazy that in this AI landscape now, a single individual seems capable of competing with large institutions. And I'm looking at some of the stuff that I have built myself with just AI, and I'm like, yo, this is comparable to some of the stuff that I'm looking at over here. In some case, I dare not say superior, right? So it's cool. It's like really empowering. It's like, what am I capable of? And I tried coding before, I couldn't do it. So AI has definitely been that tool that got me there. So long story short, why am I at Web3? Because I feel this empowerment, because I feel this passion, I feel this drive, I feel compelled to build and deliver and network with people and connect. So one thing in crypto or tech right now that has my attention, I'd say, is that intersection of AI and blockchain. And I definitely want to speak to that as we proceed. So thank you guys. I'll pass it on. Again, Stake DRMZ. Much love to everybody, and I'll see you at the next one.
Beautiful. And I'm Red Pill Rick, right? I love Web3 and crypto for everything that it stands for. The spirit of decentralization is what really kind of captivated me first, right? Is really being a part of a freedom-loving community, right? Freedom was the biggest, value that I hold, and being able to transact in a way where you can't be censored and you're removing middlemen and intermediaries was what really appealed to me at the beginning. And then becoming, a spokesperson over time because I saw it actually changing my life and the lives of my loved ones. I felt like I was called to really speak about what was going on right in the space back then and now. And that's really why I look forward to this channel with, the rest of you guys to now share in that conversation, right? Because my goal has really been to bring people on chain. And so my call to action is really also to go visit redpillrick.com. Go check out my free Web3 services, as well as my Web3 diagrams and infographics that are, completely free on my website. And take a look at the onboarding program there as well too. If you're just someone brand new to crypto, haven't, dipped your toes in, but are looking for, a structured, safe way to jump in, I'm happy to hold your hand. And then for those that are, institutional investors or really looking to drive, some big capital into real world assets like real estate, reach out to me and I'll show you how you can bring real estate on chain.
Oh yeah.
I'll pass it on to Paulie and Razo.
Appreciate you, legends. Yeah, no, again, I am Pauly TV. You can find me all over VChain. I'm also in other chains. I dabble with HBAR and Cardano, and I'll probably get into XRP because now we're hanging out with Rick, right? He's probably gonna get me in there. I'm that $5-10 price range sounds juicy. Might need to make something happen. But regardless, you can find me in a lot of places. And I talked earlier about how blockchain and Web3 and VChain community has helped me. And I really have taken it upon myself to try and return the favor to new people who come in. And I try to create spaces that are welcoming, that are fun, that are stress-free, that people can and I get a lot of new people that come in that come up and finding their own voice, which I really love to see and love to be a part of. So by all means, if anyone wants to come and join our spaces, you can find me on Mondays and Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, usually 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Also doing all types of other things. I'm all over the place. But I guess what I'd like to say is, you know, something else that we didn't touch on yet that I think has changed with the world is how separated we've become. How focused on the grind we have become so much that we never say hi to our neighbors. We don't talk to people that are around us. At times it feels like, I know for me it felt like I was existing for a long time, and finding community was something that's helped me find purpose again and start living. Right. And to the point where now I'm doing this with these guys and I'm excited about the future. So if you ever are someone who's struggling and feeling isolated, the best thing you can do is search for connection because I truly believe that's what you're missing. Find your people, find something you can contribute to, and just try to find something that's going to help you because something's missing. You ain't broke. You ain't broke. Just something's missing. Find your people, find your passion, find something you can be a part of, and get ready for a fun future. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Appreciate you guys.
And
Razo.
all right, guys. I'm starting my channel. It's gonna be called Bad Money. It's all about how money affects our world. And I want to read a quote here before we go by Henry Ford. I think I read some yesterday in the space with Rod, but this one by Henry Ford says, "It is well enough that the people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning." And that's pretty much what my channel Bad Money is all about. Just teaching people how this game of money is being played and how our hard-earned money is being like devalued in front of our faces, right? It's getting destroyed. And and that's all I want to do. I just want to talk about money, how it affects our lives, because I really believe that this is the demon that lies at the foundation of society. And what's cool about crypto and hanging out with these guys is that crypto is the only tool I see for a new revolution that actually decentralizes power and can unite us all. And I'm really excited for what's coming. Bitcoin is ripping. The world is changing. We got AIs and robots. Jobs are about to get lost. So I think you guys got to stay tuned and pay attention because the world is about to change right before us. And I'm so excited to start this channel with these fellows and get something going, man. Let's do this. Crypto, America, whatever, the world.
And a
Oh,
last minute
Crosschain
disclaimer, everybody.
Council.
And a last minute disclaimer, none of this is financial advice, right?
Anything.
It's all for educational purposes only. We're here to really just, look at crypto from our own lens, right? And really give it to you guys straight, right? And so just know that, do your due diligence, do your own research, and stay vigilant and stay safe out there. All
Absolutely. Much love.
right. Much love.
Hasta la crypto.
Thanks.